All right, welcome to the fifth green at Glenwild Golf Club and Spa. We have a par 4 that is being played in a southwesterly direction. Uh, I really enjoy this hole. It has beautiful views of all the ski resorts and the mountain range off to that southwest direction. So it's a great hole, but it has a very tricky green. So this is definitely one I've been looking forward to analyzing for you for strategy. It looks very, very simple from a bird's eye view here on Google Earth. However, when we get down here onto the green, we're going to definitely see some breaks. Some of the things that you won't see in the green book is how low this section is over here on the left. It's a very severe drop. If we're looking at what those pink indicator markings are from 6 to 9 plus percent on the slope, this definitely goes 10, 12, 14 down to a low spot over here on the left. And I'm going to be highlighting that area for you as we do this video. On the right hand side, especially starting midway back through the front section of the screen, about right here where I have my cursor, a lot of balls will kick back down from that top ridge. However, if you go too far up here toward the native grass, now you're left with an extremely challenging chip shot. So what we're looking at is scoring over time, scoring through strategy, and trying to make this whole play much more simply for us. So let's go to our Strackline book and see what we have. So again, the first thing we want to do is identify where possible hole locations would be. And right away we look for the blues and the greens. So if I start covering up some of these blue areas, we can put 1 or 2 or 3 hole locations back here. I'm just going to drop one dot there for you. And then we'll go into the middle section here. And this oftentimes produces more hole locations for us. So I'll put 3 of the 4 there. Next thing I'll do is I'll cut the screen in half and determine what it looks like front to back and side to side. And right there. Now, using our 20-yard margin for error, we're going to go around this green and take a look at where we definitely do not want to hit the ball. I'm going to say right here where it is already in this top right quadrant, I'm going to say we definitely don't want to hit the ball up here. As you can see, when you look onto the green surface, this whole pink section, and basically all the way across the green, I would say the predominant pull of gravity is basically in this direction, right? So from here across 2/3, 3/4 of the green is sloping from right to left, and also probably a little bit from back to front, right? So we're predominantly sloping in this direction all the way across the green until we hit this ridge here, which then pushes the slope in this direction. And as we can tell, like the blue droplets of water, these are your low points, and then there's always exit points for that water. So right here, that's an exit point off the back side of the green, and then over here through this very sharp valley is another exit point for gravity and water drainage, right? So if we take a look at the remaining quadrants, this quadrant over here also includes a few hole locations, and off the right hand side of the screen it's not terribly challenging. There are some tricky little chips that you would have to hit, but a lot of times you can actually even putt from this section. Let's go over here to the front left side of the green. Not a whole lot of hole locations in this section. However, from here, especially into the front half of the green, all of your chip shots are going uphill. Let's go into the back left quadrant. So in the back left side of the green, yes, we also have a hole location back here, and a lot of these chip shots in this area, especially in the back corner, will be chipping back up the hill. This particular chip shot, when you go from front left quadrant into back left quadrant, that can be an extremely challenging chip shot. So here's how I want to talk to you about this particular hole. Most of our golfers that I see playing, excuse me, they know this green has a lot of slope from the right to left, and they also know that it typically slopes a little bit from back to front. So the tendency, just like reading a green, would be, oh, okay, I'm gonna hit my ball over on the right hand side because it has a chance then of kicking from right to left to the green. Okay, now this would seem logical, and it's definitely logical if you're putting from inside 10 feet. If you have a 10-foot putt, you're definitely going to aim just right of the cup if it breaks right to left, and you're going to play that slope. However, you're not trying to hole your approach shot necessarily. What you should be trying to do strategically is give yourself the best chance of hitting your next shot. Okay, so just like when you're playing pool, if you've got any pool players listening and watching this video, you want to sink that, the number 7 ball in the corner pocket, but what you're also trying to do is give yourself an opportunity to hit one more of your other balls into a pocket by leaving the cue ball in the right position. So when you're playing into this green, it's all about the leave, and I'm going to ask you to work on this strategy. I'm going to have you aim for the middle of the green always, okay? So you're always playing your shot from the fairway directly into the middle of the green, favoring, if anything, actually the left side. Now, a lot of times we hit our shot into the middle of the green, and we're so disappointed when our ball doesn't stay on the green because of the degree of slope right here, and it rolls off. But here's what I would ask you to try working on. Spend some time down here chipping, okay? It's actually a very, very simple chip, and you're chipping straight uphill. You can even putt from down here if you start practicing it. You'll have to figure out how hard to hit it. But from all in this front left side of the green, you can actually execute a lot of really good short game shots. Now, what'll happen is you'll chip some, they'll come back to your feet a little bit, or you'll chip it and it'll come up short. But what I've seen happen with a lot of our golfers that play up here to the right-hand side is that if that ball gets stuck up here on the hill, the chances of you actually chipping it to a decent position on the green get very, very challenging. And a lot of times you'll chip onto the green and that ball will just roll all the way off the green to this side anyway. Now, what will not happen is if you're on this side chipping up, you have all of this hillside influencing back towards you, and the chances of you actually chipping your ball all the way over and having it stop on this side of the green is way less. Now, and the reason is you're going to chip up into this severe slope, it'll hit that severe slope, but then it'll actually start curving backwards and it'll work its way back into this green section. So what I want you to try to do next time you get out here on number 5 is I want you to play the ball, especially if the hole is located in this front half, right? So we're not talking about left and right, we're just talking about back to front. If it's located in the front half, I want you to aim for right here in the very front section of the green, straight into the middle. And if your ball ends up over here in the front left, I want you to be okay with that because I want you to practice chipping up onto the green here. I believe over time you'll get much better at hitting these little chip shots and your scoring will actually improve. Okay, so now let's go to the back side of the green. Like I said earlier, if your hole is located in the back section of the green, this can be a very challenging chip. However, I also think with practice you'll actually get much better at it. You'll be able to actually chip it and use the slope. You'll be able to chip it up over here and use the slope to run it back toward that pin. However, this has more to do with club selection from the fairway, because if you're going to hit into that hole location in the back quadrant, I want you to do the same thing you were just doing here in the front half, right? So if you're going to play a shot, I want you to aim right for the middle of the green, and try to hit a yardage that's conducive to the ball landing across this ridge and finishing somewhere in this back left quadrant. And again, if your ball happens to roll off the green, it'll roll off the green to the left side, and then this is the chip shot I want you to practice. Okay? So again, it's all about the leave on hole number 5. I don't want you to be playing like you typically play out here to the right-hand side, because sometimes you miss to the right and your leave is in this very, very difficult position. Now, yes, sometimes you hit it out to the right, you get this nice, beautiful kick, and you feel like you achieved everything that you were trying to achieve. It hits and curves back down to a beautiful golf shot. However, I don't see that happening as much, and I see more higher scores coming from people that leave their ball up on the top side of the green because the ball actually never makes it back down and kicking down. So, play for the middle, or play for the center, I should say, and then depending on where the hole is located, I want you to try and calculate your yardage to give you the best opportunity to score in that half of the green, so either a front half or back half of the green. So let's go to our aerial, and I'm going to say there's actually 2 kind of safe zone targets here. The first one I want for the front half, any hole that's located in the front half of the green, I want you to try to land your ball right here, right? So that becomes your safe zone for any hole location in the front half, right? Now, your target, again, for the back half is actually going to be all the way back here. And if you happen to hit it, too hard, that's fine, because what you'll realize over time and practice is hitting these little chip shots from off the back of the green over here on the left is really not that difficult. And if your ball rolls off the left-hand side of the front section of the green, chipping up and trying to get up and down is actually a lot easier to do than anything over here on the right side. So as you're working on hitting your shots into hole 5, just try this for me. I have been trying it over the last few years as your director of instruction, and what I found is if I hit a shot straight at the pin and it holds and bites right here, I've got a birdie putt. If it doesn't do that and it kind of trickles off, I know that that chip shot I've actually chipped in a couple of times, once from over here and once from that side. I found it a lot easier to either chip in or get up and down from the left side of the green, chipping uphill, than if I get a little too cute and leave my ball up here on the right side, or even if I hit it up here and it stays. I've 3-putted a few times as well, trying to get my ball from here into the back section of the green, and then also from here down to the front. So thanks for joining me in this video. I'll see you in the next one.